this is going to be kind of an impromptu podcast. So we'll see how this goes. I just happen to I'm scrolling on Facebook as you do. And I'm in a lot of these support for reactive or fearful dogs. And I came across this post, which I thought was an interesting question. She said, I have 2 reactive dogs out of my pack of 4. I find it amazing how many dogs are reactive. Why are there so many? Great question. Now, there are 121 comments. I haven't gone through them all, so we're doing this in real time here. I thought maybe we would just kind of go through some of them. Let's chat about it. Let's talk about this, because that's a great question. Why are there so many reactive dogs? Let's get into it.
Are you worried that your fearful dog may hurt someone or something else? Do you have to prepare just to take a walk around the block? Hi, I'm Tracy, and I too had that dog. The one that you could only walk at nighttime when no one else was around. And I felt ashamed, and oh gosh, I wish that people could just see the dog that I know and love. I wanted the confidence to be able to walk my dog and not have to worry about who or what was around the corner. And I kept telling myself that if I just keep doing obedience drills and distracting with treats, that things would get better. Until I found the secret. Fear is not something that you can train out of a dog. In this podcast, you will find tips to help build your dog's confidence naturally, communication and understanding to foster that trust, and how to address those fear-based behaviors effectively so that you can enjoy a stress-free life with your dog. So if you're ready, stop chopping those chicken wieners, grab your notebook, and let's get to it.
Well, hello there, my dog-loving friend. It is Tracy. I'm not going to lie, I started scrolling without you. That was rude. I started scrolling without you. I am looking at some of the answers, 121 comments on the question, why are there so many reactive dogs these days? And it's fascinating. I'm going to share some of them here. Let's see. The first one was, this might be a hot take, but I definitely think it's a lot of genetics. There you go. Genetics could definitely play a part for sure. Some dogs are predisposed to it. Just like some people are predisposed to high anxiety, bad breeding, treatment as a puppy, adolescence, all during the impressionable years can have a lasting effect. Yeah, lots of people agreed with that one. I also believe it has to do with the overall energy in the world these days. Humans are literally losing themselves. Ooh, that's bad breeding. Someone just said bad breeding. That's a good one. There is a definite energy in the world today. COVID puppies / dogs. Oh, COVID comes up a lot. Spoke to my vet and he said with bigger dogs, you can go one way or the other, a reactive nervous dog or a really confident and sure dog. I don't know. What does that have to do with bigger dogs? A vet said that? What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think dogs are being dogs. Oh, I agree. We just call them reactive because they don't behave how we want them to behave. No, what I would say to that, I mean, your thoughts are valid. I shouldn't say that. No, this is just Tracy's opinions. What I would say to that, though, is I do believe that dogs are just being dogs, but I also believe that we are quite often fighting nature. Right? We're a lot of times, and that's what training is in a lot of cases, right? It's training is almost asking them to go against nature, doing the things that they, stopping them from doing the things that they want to do and all of that stuff. And I think when we fight nature too much, we're going to get a lot of resistance, and that's creating a lot of anxiety for a lot of things. Someone said, I agree with that. People's expectation of dogs have changed over the years. Interesting. Let's see. I think a lot of it has to do with poor breeding, probably. Along with jobless dogs that create excess energy and therefore excess anxiety and excitement, dogs were intentionally bred to have jobs. Ooh, I believe in that. I do, but that's fulfillment. You know how I feel about fulfillment. If you don't, I think it's the 3rd episode I talk about fulfillment. Most reactive dogs I know have been attacked by off-leash dogs. Oh, yes, off-leash dogs. Can we talk about the increase of irresponsible off-leash dogs? That's 100%, I think, COVID. I didn't get my dog out enough to socialize during COVID. He was rescued as a puppy, moved 4 times by 8 weeks old. What? How does that happen? My dog was found in a rubbish dump around 3 months of age. Where are you finding these dogs? Okay, well, that does play a part. We have 4 rescues. Only 1 wasn't reactive. You know what? I'm going to say this because she did talk. Let's talk about this for 1 second. I am going to say this, and I don't know everybody's case, but because she said she's got a pack of 4 and 2 of them are reactive, and there's a lot of people commenting about the number of reactive dogs in their pack when they have multiple dogs. I will say this. This is the one thing I do know to be true is a lot of times people will have like maybe a fearful dog or a shy dog or whatnot, and they go out and they get another dog to help that first dog, and that sometimes backfires on them. So what I know to be true, and this is actually what we're talking about right now, as my pack is getting older, I am trying to, I have to think about, one, how many dogs do I actually really want to end up with? Because I'm down to 8. I don't want to have a pack of 19 again. That's not the season of life I am. I mean, if I'm going to visualize my visual board, I will let you guys know this. This is what I really want. I want to get an RV. I want to get an RV, not just so that I can travel, because I love road trips. But I also want to get an RV so that I can come and see you. Right? I want to do like a traveling RV thing where I get to meet other dog lovers and maybe do some seminars and stuff where we can get together like in person. I think that's a really great add to like talking to you on the podcast, like getting to come and see you. That would be amazing, right? That's kind of my dream. I want an RV. So, everybody that if you think that's a great idea, let's manifest it together so that we can get together and hang out at the RV, whatever. We'll do a seminar and we'll just meet and we'll hang out and it'll be amazing. So let's all manifest. Tracy gets an RV this year. And I will say this, it can even be one of those fancy RVs, like the ones that are buses, because my husband is a bus driver. He's a coach operator. So I've got the driver, I've got the pack, I've got the excitement to do it. So let's do it. That's a sidebar. But anyway, I have to figure out sort of where I want to be and how many dogs I want for my traveling pack for my RV show. And, but I actually intentionally think about, the age of my dogs, bringing in new dogs, right? And what kind of dog I need to make the pack whole. See what I said there? What kind of dog do I need to add to my pack to make it whole so that we are still a pro-social pack that all gets along? So when I think about bringing in another dog, I do think about the other pack members. I think what happens to a lot of people, and it's good-natured people, right? We bring in a dog that is maybe needs a home, is a sad story, is whatever. We bring that dog into our pack without actually thinking, is this actually a good fit? Is this energy a good fit? And what's it going to do for my pack as a whole? We don't ask those questions and discern, because dogs are sentient beings. They have their own personalities. They have their own energies that they bring to the pack. So, for example, my last dog was Nike, the Jack Russell. We brought in a female, right? I had to worry a little bit about the female because I have a pretty strong female Aussie, but my female Aussie does defer to me, which is good. But I also have a very laid back male, right? So I've got the higher energy of a Jack Russell, the laid back male of the Noof that I have is a laid back male. Those things balance each other out. What quite often happens, especially for people, if you have a reactive dog, and you bring in another dog, please know that there is a good chance you will end up with 2 reactive dogs, because your dogs in your pack are actually going to be the greatest influencers of their behavior if you've got dogs. Please understand that. And I talk about leadership all the time and being a great leader, and my dogs have to defer to me and all of that stuff. But I am not so naive to think that the energies and the personality types of the dogs are what my dogs are going to feed off of. Right? We can't ignore that. No matter how great of a leader I am, my dogs and the pack that they live with, they're going to feed off of that. So I think in some cases, when we have one reactive dog, we have a high chance of creating other reactive dogs, because especially if you bring in a younger dog, right? Your younger dog is going to monkey see, monkey do what your other dog is doing. If your other dog is like highly anxious and is like, everything's trying to kill me and I have to react and bark to everything, then your new dog coming in is going to be like, everything is going to kill me and I have to react and bark because that's what that guy is doing. So we have to be conscientious of that. You have to know that that is a possibility. So when I see some of these where they're like, 4 out of 5 of my dogs are reactive, or 2 out of 6 of my dogs are reactive, there's a good chance that some of that is learned from your pack. Anyway, I digress. Let's move on. Mine was abused and either abandoned or escaped. So it was due to trauma. Okay. I mean, do we know that for sure? I don't know. Rescued too young. Genetics play a role. 2 out of 4 of my dogs are reactive. Bad breeding, irresponsible owners with unleashed, untrained dogs that attack dogs, causing reactivity, poor socialization. Yeah, so there's a lot of commonalities here. COVID plays a huge factor. I feel those who had puppies during that lockdown had a big problem. And then a lot of people said, yeah, that's what I believe. Okay, let's talk about COVID. Let's talk about COVID for a second. There's a lot of good stuff in here. There's a lot of, some breeds are more prone to this being reactive. That's true. Genetics do play a part. COVID's in here a lot. My 2 dogs caught a highly contagious intestinal parasites and had to stay in, and they couldn't socialize or get her into training. See, there's a lot of stuff. I got to talk about COVID. Let's talk about COVID. I'm rubbing my hands. Let's talk about COVID a little bit. The reason why I want to talk about COVID a little bit is just because I believe COVID gets thrown out there a lot for poor socialization because of COVID. That's why my dog is blank. Now, I will say I do believe COVID did play a big part in what happened with our dogs, but not for the reason that you're thinking. Because a lot of people will say the reason why my dog is reactive is because we couldn't get them out to socialize because of COVID, and therefore they're reactive. But if you guys go back to back then, I think I was doing almost daily posts on Facebook. If you go back to my stuff, I was actually saying this is a great time to create an incredible bond with your dog. Like I was like, COVID is your friend right now. Because right now, people can't come up to you. Dogs can't run at you. They have to keep their dogs on a leash, and they're not allowed to come into your bubble and all of that stuff. This is the greatest time for you to go out into the world, show your dog things that are happening, but you're still going to have the focus on you. You're not going to have the disruption of dogs coming at you or people going, can I pet your dog? And all of that gobbledygook, because that's actually not helpful. If you listen to what people are saying here, there's almost a split in this comment section of people saying, I didn't get my dog out to socialize. And then the other half saying, I socialized wrong. Like I was told to go to the dog park and my dog got attacked by another dog. I socialized wrong. My dog, got too many people were petting it. And now, so you have the people saying that they got the same response, they got the same reactivity. One group is saying, I didn't even get out to socialize. And the other group saying, I got out and socialized and I did it wrong. So COVID was actually an optimal time for you to actually get out and socialize your dog without other people coming into the fact. But, and this is a big but, and I can only speak to my experience during COVID. I can't speak to yours. And if this isn't your experience, then, maybe sort of think about it from your perspective. But from my perspective, during COVID, especially the early days of COVID, when we were like, no, what's going on? We were wiping down our groceries. Like we didn't know. There were some stores I wasn't even allowed to go into. I had to order and then they would bring it out to my car and I wasn't allowed to talk to people, all that weird stuff. That there was this anxiety because we didn't know. It was the unknown, right? So just generally speaking as a whole, we were anxious. We were like, what's going on? The news was awful. I remember there were nights where I was, for some reason, I wasn't able to sleep and I was checking the COVID board of the mortalities. Like it was gross. Like I was really in a bad space. And so energetically, I'm not showing up I'm not showing up very well for my dogs, right? It wasn't that you didn't get out to socialize. It's how you felt about the people out there. At least it was for me, because even though they tried to spin it, I remember them trying to spin it like you wear a mask so that you protect others from you. That's not how it landed. It didn't land that way. It landed in my ears as everyone else is contagious and and that thing is going to kill you. Right? Like, I mean, maybe it was like my first time of really feeling like a fearful dog. Everything's a threat and everything's going to kill me. Like, so my anxiety about people is what my dogs would have fed into. It wasn't just that they weren't allowed to come say hi. It was that I was like, oh gosh, there's a person over there. And oh gosh, there's a person over there. And I got to stay 6 feet. And so there's this anxiety ridden underlying current of everything is going to kill me. Oh my gosh. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it was probably the first time we all felt like fearful dogs. we were all just out there like, what's going on? That's a threat. That's a threat. That person's a threat. Everyone's a threat. Like groceries are a threat, What did I touch? Sanitize things. Like everything was a threat. But I believe that where a lot of these anxious dogs or reactive dogs came from wasn't because you didn't go out and see people. Because as we know, the people that went out and saw the people and all the dogs and whatnot, they also have reactive dogs. It wasn't about that. It was about how you felt about it. It's about how you felt about it that your dogs picked up on. And that's where I think the big difference is. And that's the thing that I really want people to really think about. If I'm being honest, I have come to realize that this shift that I've had in, since starting this podcast and since sort of focusing in on fearful dogs, because prior to this, I'd be like, I can help everybody because I was all about fixing anybody's relationship with their dogs. And this stuff does. If I'm being honest, doesn't matter if your dog is fearful or not. The stuff that I'm talking about will help you and your dog. That's the bottom line. But because I was focusing in on, fearful dogs, and I started sort of getting into this world with with my friends that have fearful dogs, I started to really get into this. It hit me like this revelation that the biggest struggle that owners of fearful dogs or fear reactive dogs have is themselves. They're really struggling with their own mindset. They're in a state of overwhelm and frustration and confusion as a general rule. And as I mentioned last week in my podcast about leadership and defining your relationship and how the dog training industry is failing you, this is where we're failing you. This is why you're struggling, because we're telling you 18 different things about like how to train your dog. And if you're doing it this way, it's wrong. And we've created this for you. Like we've done this to you. I truly believe. And so when I rebuilt the Fearful Dog program, I rebuilt it with a first module that is primarily on it is primarily mindset. It's mindset of the fearful dog. It's going to help you step into the mind of your dog. But it is also, let's take a moment and talk about our own mindset. Let's first of all take a moment and forgive ourselves, because I know that you're carrying around a lot of guilt, a lot of shame. And I am giving you permission to start to forgive yourself from that. And if there is one thing that I can honestly tell you, and please, if you're multitasking right now, I want you to come back into this moment right here, right now, because I need you to hear these words that I say. You are enough. You are enough for your dog. You, my friend, my dog loving friend. If you were here with me, I would be holding your hand and saying, you are enough for your dog. And please do not let any other trainers or professionals or whatever tell you otherwise. You are enough. If you're listening to this podcast, I know that you will love your dog and you would do anything for your dog. And you are enough. You are enough for your dog. You are doing the best that you can with the information that you have. And I'll tell you right now, the information out there is failing you. And the very first thing that I need you to consider is that you might need to step out of that hamster wheel of dog training and just pull yourself out for a second and start to let's talk about the things that you're doing right, because you are doing everything for your dog. And then once we get through that, then we can start looking at your dog. Then we can start to go, okay, let's look at your dog. Let's figure this out together. Let's do this together. And I would love to take that journey with you. I would love to take that journey with you. If you're like, I'm not quite ready there, I'm not there yet, please join the free Facebook group. Okay, come over to Living Beyond Obedience. It's Living Beyond Obedience on Facebook. Come over there. And I will say, I know it's going to go long. I was like, this is going to be a short episode. It's never a short episode, Tracy. Get it together. But I'm going to say it just as a sidebar. Somebody just recently asked a question. I posted it. It's just out there now. At the time of this recording, I put it in the Facebook group. I allowed her to ask that question. I'm going to answer it a little bit more. I'm probably going to do a live in the group. So you should come over because you can get some free live training happening over in that Facebook group. But the reason why I'm mentioning it is because she asked a question, and the very first thing I was like, okay, well, what kind of dog do you have? Because when I do this, when I try to figure out what's going on with your dog, I get into it. I get right into it. You can't just tell me your dog is reacting and this is what I'm doing. And is that the right thing? I don't know, because I don't know your dog. So I'm going to be like, let's find out your dog. And when she told me, I was like, okay. And I kind of visualized the dog. And I'm like, let's think about that dog from the breed perspective, what might be going on there. And then we're going to continue on. We're going to actually break it down, because I am not a tools and technique person. I'm not one that's just going to be like, just do this thing, because I don't believe that actually works. Tools and techniques are just tools and techniques. But here's the thing. Reactivity is coming from a place of emotion. And until we figure out that place of emotion, where is this coming from? Until we sort of step into the mind of the dog and go, okay, if this is coming from frustration, how can I relieve that frustration? It's not about how can I stop the behaviors. How can I relieve that frustration? And then we're going to be able to stop that behavior. Now, some people are going to come out there and tell you, I know people just want the quick answer, right? You just want the answer. What's this thing that I can do to stop this now? I have pain. The dog is doing this. It's painful for me. I want to stop it now. And I get that. But if you don't do the emotional work, if you don't figure out your dog at that level, it's just going to come up somewhere else. It's just going to keep coming up and keep coming up. So that's why we do that. So I want to say this. If this is you, if you're at the point where you're like, I really just I need something more. I need something more with my dog. I really want to encourage you to join me over in the Fearful Dog Fearless Framework. I really want to encourage you to do that, because over there, we're not really talking about working on our dogs. We're talking about working on ourselves. Mindset first, and everything else gets easier. And I highly encourage you to let go of all the other training noise. Just let go of all the doing, the techniques, the doing. Let it all go for a second and just let's get to know your dog. And if you want me to help you with that, if you want to join me, I would love to partner with you in this journey. So consider coming over. It's beyondobedience.ca/fearless. beyondobedience.ca/fearless if you want to join the Fearful Dog. If you're not ready yet, come on over to the free Facebook group, Living Beyond Obedience, over on Facebook. We're going to be talking about some things over there as well. I hope this helps. I hope this helps. I hope this my goal is always to give you hope and inspire you to know that one, you are enough, and two, you can do this. And if you need me to help you, I would love to do that with you. All right, that's it for this week. Not this week. That's it for this episode. As always, get out there today and be the person that your dog thinks you are, because your dog thinks that you are amazing. And so do I. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next episode. Oh, and one more thing. This podcast is meant for education and entertainment purposes only and should never replace hands-on professional training. If you're really struggling with your dog, be sure to reach out to a professional in your area. Okay, I think that's it. Bye for now.